The word addiction is Latin for enslaved or bound to. Drug addicts can explain why that is so incredibly true to often their experiences. Addiction can take over lives and can destroy everything in one's path. We have all heard that drug addiction is a choice and not a disease, but actually drug addiction is a complex disease of the brain and body that involves compulsive use of one or more substances despite serious health, social, or mental consequences. Addiction disrupts regions of the brain that are responsible for reward, motivation, learning, judgment, memory. It damages its various body parts, let alone families, relationships, workplaces, schools, and whole communities. Addiction is defined as a disease by the American Medical Association. Just like diabetes, cancer, heart disease, addiction is caused by a combination of many things, such as environmental or biological factors. Genetics actually make up for about 1/2 of the likelihood to develop an addiction. Addiction will destroy lots of people's lives and kill hundreds of people daily. In 2018, according to the drugabuse.gov, 67,000 people overdosed due to a drug-related incident. Leaving addiction untreated like any other disease will only worsen and affect the longevity of someone's life and well-being. Addiction is life-threatening and should be taken seriously just like any other disease. Many people, although, have a lot of negative connotations or just thoughts or assume things about people who are suffering from drug addiction, and that stigma needs to be removed. Nobody downplays the seriousness of other diseases, such as lung disease or cancer. Drug addiction is a disease. It's actually quite an epidemic, for being honest. 19.7 people admit to being addicted to drugs. Think about the people who aren't admitting that. So there's a lot more than just 19.7 million, and that alone is a lot. Being addicted to some sort of substance is life-threatening. And I got this statistic from AmericanAddictionCenter.org. 19.7 million people make up around 38% of the recorded people who have admitted to being addicted to drugs. Like I said, there's probably a lot more. Drug addiction can be stigmatized as a choice you made. And a lot of people think, oh, you made your bed, now you have to lie in it. But that shouldn't be how we look at drug addiction at all. Oftentimes, these people are embarrassed or ashamed of their disease and their condition. You would never shame someone for having cancer, diabetes, lung disease. You would never shame these people. And just like lung disease or heart disease, you can get that from outside sources such as smoking and vaping, stuff like that. You should never shame someone for having a drug addiction. It's no different. Yes, we can agree that choosing to pick up a drug is a choice, but in these addicts' brains, something's not wired the same as, say, our brain is, someone who isn't addicted to a drug or substance. Addiction changes the brain chemistry and the function. Nobody intends to get addicted to drugs. Studies by the Harvard Medical Group show 1 in 10 people are addicted to alcohol or other drugs, and 2 out of 3 Americans abuse alcohol daily. When addicted to drugs, it releases something as simple as like pleasure. Your brain's like, wow, I really enjoy this. What is this? I want more. So the brain registers this as a positive thing, and the brain starts to release dopamine in small clusters around the central cortex. Basically, the brain gets addicted to this intense feeling of pleasure, and the brain craves it more. So many might think, what's the point of all this info about drug addiction? Well, the stigma of drug abuse is what needs to be stopped. Getting the drug addicts help obviously is important, but we first need to tackle the fact that a lot of people don't consider drug addiction a disease. This stigma can lead to death and unwanted trauma to many outside sources, such as families and communities. It causes trauma, to be honest. Drug addiction affects many more than just the addict, with more people in the everyday world accepting drug addiction as a legitimate disease. These addicts can stand tall and fight this battle head on with the support from others. It doesn't matter that medical associations or doctors believe that this is a disease. It matters that we believe it's a disease. We have the power to change the stigma. You know, there's memes on Facebook making fun of drug addicts. You know, that what do you think that does to the addict? That shames them. That makes them think, oh, there's no way out. No one's going to help me. This will never change. I'm stuck like this. And that shouldn't be how they should look at it. They should think, I have this disease and I want to change. And there's places where I can go and help I can get. It's up to us to help them with that and take off that negative stigma and connotation. We are the common denominator. Many addicts in recovery attend meetings like NA, AA, or they go to outreach treatment centers. Some local are like Aspire. But often more times, if a person is attending an AA meeting or an NA meeting, these meetings are held at night in dark places, such as like they're held maybe like 6 or 5 p.m. in like a basement of a church or something. And that's what we need to stop doing. We're keeping this disease in the dark because we don't want to acknowledge that it is a disease. But these people are fighting every single day to get clean and get help. So we need to understand that, and we need to take how they're feeling into accountability. Just like if you would help someone with cancer and, start a Facebook page for them or a hashtag for them, we can do the same for people facing drug addiction. It's no different. I believe that drug addiction is a disease, and I hope I was able to convince you all of that today too. Thank you.